Why do I think that GLP-1 agonists are one of the best new medications that have a potential in changing the outcomes for so much of humanity, especially those of us who are aging rapidly and are in our perimenopausal and postmenopausal and periandropausal and postandropausal phases of existence. These medications are, because they are sugar neutralizers, they basically allow you to have this iron dome of protection against sugars. So now, once you are on these medications, you can consume food or you can consume stress and not have sugar spikes that damage you from inside. So guys, I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy that TikTok is back and here to answer your questions. For those of you who may not know me yet, and if you are seeing me on your For You page, then it's probably either you know me already, and if you don't know me and you may be looking for somebody like me, I am Dr. Sofia Din. I work at Juvanni, which is an anti-aging center. I am an anti-aging concierge. And what we do is basically connect you with your health and your beauty as you go through life, year after year after year. Longevity medicine is basically a form of medicine that is very much related to your wellness and your well-being and your health throughout your lifespan. Your lifespan naturally occurs in a way where you will go through life where after a certain point in life you will stop growing and the system, your body system, starts disintegrating. That's where people like me come in handy, where we help you keep your system together, not just for the few years that you're young and vibrant and healthy, but for the rest of your life and for the entirety of your lifespan. And especially nowadays when humans are living twice or thrice as long as their ancestors did, it is very important for people to experience their existence in a way which allows them to pursue all the things that their DNA had planned for them. All right, guys. So today I'm here to answer some very important questions. And the question that people ask me the most about these days is GLP-1 agonist. So today I will try to encapsulate for you all the things that you may want to know about GLP-1 agonists. Are they good for you? Why are they good for you? And who should use what? And why are they being used as a microdose in people who may not even have the problems that these things solve? So GLP-1 agonists, for those of you who do not know about it, are a class of medications that has recently, and when I say recently, I mean a few years ago, got FDA approval to be used for a few conditions. One of the conditions was diabetes, another condition was weight. So these medications are basically sugar neutralizers. And as you know, that sugar is a toxic substance which, if used in excess, can create problems for the wellness of your body, leading to not just one disease, but through that one disease of high sugar or insulin resistance or diabetes, whatever it is, it can create silent damage to pretty much every organ in your body. So these medications are basically for you for the management of diabetes, FDA approved. However, people are using these medications not just for diabetes. People are using these medications for also weight. And weight issues and weight gain and weight loss are very, very important things for people. And I think that these medications are especially important for people who have weight issues, and especially who always are grappling with how much food they're taking and how much they're spending out, and in the end, how much weight they're gaining. So food related problems are very easily handled by these medications. So people who are using these sugar neutralizers are finding that they are also reducing weight. I like to tell people that GLP-1 agonists for your body are like Botox for your skin. So for those of you who do not know Botox is an anti-aging medication that reverses the onslaught of time upon your skin. And it's probably the fastest acting anti-aging medication in the world. And what ends up happening with Botox is that we place these small shots in under your skin, and within a short span of a week or 10 days, your skin has anti-aged by at least 5 to 7 years, and which is a miraculous thing. And then as the medication wears off, you need to do that all over again. So GLP-1 agonists similarly are like Botox for your fat cells. However, for the fat, what we place this small injection, and what it does is that it allows the fat cells to release the inflammation, to release the hoarding of food that it does. For like every fat cell tries to hoard as much energy as it can, because that's what its action is and that's what its purpose is. So our fat cells, because we're constantly exposed to sugar, are hoarding a lot of fat. And what ends up happening when you use a GLP-1 agonist is that your fat cells relax.
What do you think all of these celebrities, some of them, they say they don't, but we know that they use Ozempic. Why you think they have that face like they look like zombies?
Yes, that is so. Again, because this is a medication that releases your fat cells from hoarding all the fat that it's holding onto, or excess fat that it's holding onto. So as the fat stores decrease in their in their shape, or as in how big they are, as your fat decreases and as your weight decreases, you cannot control from where that weight goes. So sometimes when people start losing weight, they lose weight around their cheeks, their skin starts to sag, and because that fat sometimes is good for your face, because you don't want fat over here on your belly, but people want some fat around their face. So when you're on Ozempic and you're not doing anything else, you will very quickly notice that the inner padding of your skin, which is made up of fat cells too, that nice padding and lining starts disintegrating also, because the fat is gone in those areas. And we experience those people as like, the Ozempic faces, where suddenly, even though you've shrunk in size and now you're healthier because you have less fat and your metabolic rate is like better, even then what ends up happening with that is that your face starts looking older. And because one part of youthfulness is also the youthfulness, the skin, the vibrance of your skin comes from the underlying padding. And when we use these medications, one of the effects of this medication is loss of fat cells. So those fat cells losing their volume can create volume loss on your face. And those are the people who not only need a little bit of filler, hyaluronic acid fillers put back into their face, but they also need the skin to be tightened. So we suggest sometimes machines that are skin tightening machines, and we want people to, before they go on Ozempic journeys, to make sure that they have skin tightening and some fat restoration going on simultaneously, because you don't want to look haggard as you're losing weight. So that was a very good question. All the stars, I was in Washington and I in DC this over the weekend, and I met so many people who were on Ozempic, who were on Mounjaro or Zepbound. And by the way, these are all different forms of GLP-1 agonists. Guys, when I say Botox is this medication that is the generic name of the original company that produced Botox. So everybody knows Botox. However, there are like 5 or 6 different kinds of Botox, and 5 of different kinds of Botox are different companies altogether. They're distinct and they all do the same thing. Similarly, GLP-1 agonists and GLP-2 agonists, all these medications that are there for sugar neutralizers, these medications have like 5 or 6 different kinds of medicines right now that we all know about, and all of them, they have like similar function too. So the Botox for your fat cells, also there's like 5-6 different kinds of items that are available, and you have to find the right fit for you. So GLP-1 agonists right now, we have the most commonly used, which is Ozempic. Then we have something called Mounjaro. You also know them by their generic names like semaglutide, which is the base substance that Ozempic uses. And we also have something called Wegovy, which tirzepatide, which is like Wegovy. And tirzepatide is also something that if you've heard the name Zepbound, that's also tirzepatide. And people ask me, like, how do I figure out what do I use? Like, should I use Ozempic? Should I use Wegovy? Should I use tirzepatide? Should I use semaglutide? The best product, as far as I am concerned, which I have used on people, is semaglutide, which is a generic version, a GLP-1 agonist. It's the best priced. You can get it. The good thing about semaglutide is that you can use it and it will pass the blood-brain barrier and also be available to your brain. Meanwhile, the other product, which is tirzepatide, which is otherwise known as Mounjaro, may be also good, but however, it has like some extra amino acid links, which makes it a little harder to bypass the blood-brain barrier. So for people who don't have a problem with alcohol and they can just stop drinking alcohol altogether, I prefer them to use basically semaglutide. However, if you're somebody who's gonna have a drink here and there and who loves their wine and who's like, please, I'm gonna have like this little sip every time I meet this or that friend, those people, or who have already incurred some form of liver and toxicity and they have injury to their liver where their liver is taxed too much, those people, I give them Mounjaro or Zepbound, or if alcohol is your problem, I would rather you be on tirzepatide or Zepbound or Mounjaro. However, the best drug that I prefer, that I think that people, if they use it properly in conjunction with their doctors, I think that is semaglutide, which is Wegovy. Why do I think that GLP-1 agonists are one of the best new medications that have a potential in changing the outcomes for so much of humanity, especially those of us who are aging rapidly and are in our perimenopausal and postmenopausal and periandropausal and postandropausal phases of existence. These medications are, because they are sugar neutralizers, they basically allow you to have this iron dome of protection against sugars. So now, once you are on these medications, you can consume food, or you can consume stress and not have sugar spikes that damage you from inside. And sugar is one such medication, the one such toxic substance that can hurt you as it stays in your system. So these medications neutralize the impact of sugar. And listen, sugar is in everything. Everything that you eat, 90% of the food that you're going to consume in the modern day is going to create problems for you. The other thing is that these medications last in your system for a week to 10 days at the most. So they need to be injected. And you have to find the right dose, the right amount, the right passage of time before you inject yourself again. So once you have gained your best weight, like if you were let's say 20 pounds overweight, and you went on this cycle of GLP-1 agonists for a few months, and now you have reduced your weight to where you are most comfortable, or where you feel the most healthy, the most energetic, the most fluid, the most in flow, mental, physical, emotional alignment is happening at that weight. That weight is where you have to figure out how long can you stay on a shot. Now, these medications are not always covered by your insurance, because many of you may not have diabetes or the obscene amount of weight you need for an insurance company to give it to you. However, even if you do not have these diseases, you should still be on a microdose of this medication, because it's just going to become a supplement that is going to shield you from what you ingest and what we place on your table. So again, let me see if I have any questions that people ask me. Side effects. So side effects for GLP-1 agonists, the most common side effect when you start this medication is basically nausea. So it might feel like morning sickness for those of you who are going to be using it for like at least 2 weeks. So when we start the medication, I always remind everyone that, please be prepared. You're going to feel nausea for the first couple of weeks when you're taking this medication. And that's why it's very important to go very slow, very steadily onto this. And I always like to add on top of these medications a little bit of a liver cleanse and a little bit of B12 vitamin. And what they do is that as you're going through that morning sickness and you don't feel like eating, because remember, this is your brain aligning with the rest of your body, the nausea is basically that Wi-Fi signal from your brain to stop you from feeding yourself. So you will get used to it. So in 1 or 2 weeks, your body is completely used to it. And normally by 3rd or 4th week, your nausea is completely resolved, because your body gets the message. Your body gets the message that when I feel like this, stop eating. And then that is how many of the people who suffer from food addiction resolve their addictions. They are no longer, food is no longer an obstacle in their path. It's the noise of the food addicts about people who are like constantly thinking of food. It's gone. It's quiet on that front. So you can actually place your energy in things that you like best. So nausea is a very important first side effect that pretty much everyone goes through. It's a little bit less for people who are on Zepbound or tirzepatide or Manjaro. However, because it lasts such a short period of time, that I tell people that once you pass that hurdle, you should be fine. It should be a smooth sailing. The other thing is that when we increase your doses, there are some people for whom a microdose is sufficient, because they're using it not for weight reduction, but they're just using it for longevity, which is like they want to preserve themselves and save themselves from the impact of sugar. However, there are people who are later on, we have to increase their doses because they're trying to achieve a certain weight goal. And at that point, there is another side effect that people have to then manage by themselves, and that is constipation. One of the things that GLP-1 agonists does is that it slows down the passage of food in your gut. So everything takes its sweet time to move down. So one of the things that and that's how actually your gut gets a chance to meet with the food, to extract what it needs, and to let go of whatever it does not. So I tell people that make sure that you eat fiber, make sure that you hydrate yourself, make sure that you put in some greens and some protein in your food. And so constipation is a problem for people, and you have to adjust the dose at a point where you're back in the flow, because nobody wants a clogged system. We do not need a clog, we need a flow. So to be in a state of flow between your mind and body, you need to make sure that everything is in flow. So even when you're taking in the energy, the food, please make sure that you have the appropriate nutrients that you're feeding yourself orally. Now, at my office, one of the things that we also serve people with is an intravenous cocktail of nutrients and minerals and supplements that your body really needs. Now, those are the end products of all the food that you consume. And one of the things I like to say to people is that there is no way for humans to take in all the nutrients and minerals that their body needs for wellness and health and longevity orally, because our gut biome is like Great Wall of China sometimes, especially for water soluble nutrients and minerals that our body needs. Because when you eat these, even if you take it as a vitamin supplement orally, a water soluble mineral like B12 or B6 or B complex, or different especially the B vitamins, or even like C vitamins or glutathione, when you take them orally, many of those vitamins, and I call them vitamins, I like to call them vital amines, can get denatured in your stomach with just the hydrochloric acid that your stomach produces to clear out the bacteria. So during that first clearance, that first pass, it denatures all the water soluble nutrients for your body. And when those things get into your gut, the gut biome cannot recognize any of those nutrients, and your gut biome is supposed to protect you. They are your protectors. They will not allow anything inside their system if they do not recognize it. One of the jokes I like to crack, and this is my favorite line, I say that your gut biome, when you're in perimenopause or menopause, is just as jaded as you are. It's not going to open its doors and let in some nutrient that it does not recognize. So that's why one of the hacks that we have for longevity, and especially when somebody is on a GLP-1 agonist also routinely, we want to make sure that they get like an intravenous infusion of minerals and nutrients at least once a month, if not more. And especially if you're also someone who regularly drinks alcohol, you have to then make sure that somebody's flushing out your system. It's like an oil change with balancing of nutrients of your system. Well, if you are doing, so those are, some of the side effects of GLP-1 agonists. And the most worrisome side effect of GLP-1 agonists is basically thyroid B cell cancer, medullary cancer. But I always tell people that if you're on super high doses and you don't know where your medication is coming from, and you are not, and nobody's monitoring it, and you're just pumping yourself up with God knows what amount of medication which you don't know where you're receiving it from, it can be problematic. Because I do like people to check their blood work before they start these medications, and routinely, like every 6 to 8 months, make sure that your doctor is checking some of your levels to make sure that everything is flowing smoothly. Yeah, what is the price point? For those of you whom God loves, your insurance is in, and you're in the United States of America, and you have certain symptoms that your insurance will cover this medication. For those of you, enjoy it, because this is like one of the most basic medications that you will need to stay healthy. The thing that I wanted to express is that if you're one of those people who are the chosen ones and who are the lucky ones, who you have insurance and your insurance is covering your medication, just remember, these are expensive medications. It costs roughly, whether you're on the cheaper version of the medication or you're on a more expensive medication, it should still cost you around $1,000 to $1,500 to obtain this medication per month. So when you are on these medications and your insurance is covering them, great for you. Enjoy that benefit, because it's super amazing. But many of us will have to purchase these medications off the market and through the assistance of a doctor, and will have to pay it out of pocket. And if you're that person, then you have like a lot of homework to do, because you'll have to find a doctor in your area whom you can trust, who will bring these medications to you from a regulated pharmacy at a certain cost, and hopefully at the best cost possible. And your task does not end at just finding these medications for longevity, because guys, if you're listening to me, please know that I am a longevity medicine doctor. So I am interested in you taking these medications not just for now, but for as long as you can. Not only you have to get these medications, but you also have to get alongside it some B12 and some liver cleanse, which is a very important protective element that you place with these medications in your system. Because guess what? When you place those elements with these medications in your system, you are going to be preventing some of the very simple side effects that sometimes make people not want to use these medications. And also, as you are decreasing your appetite and as food loses its control and its hold on your brain, that is also a time that you want to make sure that as you're losing the weight, you're not losing all the goodness that the food brings to your body. So some of those elements have to be reintroduced into your system, sometimes intravenously. And that is something that, again, you'll have to find a doctor who is aware of how to bring these cocktails of minerals and nutrients to you as you go on this journey. So again, we're talking about GLP-1 agonists. These are sugar neutralizers that are super important for your body. Not only you need to use these medications for management and prevention from diabetes, but also they are very important for weight management, not just weight management when you have weight problems, but weight management once you get into menopause and postmenopausal stages of life, where all your metabolic systems suffer from a slowdown. And these medications can jump you through that obstacle in life. And the third thing that they're super, super important, and one of their functions that I like best, is that they prevent food addiction from taking control over your system. Not only they're great for addiction with food, but a lot of people are now also prescribing them for people who just have any sort of addiction, because addiction centers are located in a part of the brain which I like to call it area 51 of your brain, where nobody knows all the things that goes on there. However, these medications have a very calming effect on that part of your brain, which controls your addictions and your cravings, whether they are food related or alcohol related or sugar related, or sometimes even like, see, everything that is an addiction. Is like a spectrum. It can range from work, from there are people who are workaholics, there are people who are alcoholics, there are people who are addicted to food, and this is like a spectrum. So you switch your addiction pattern to another form of thing. There are people who are addicted to caffeine, and there are people who are addicted to adrenaline. So addiction is a center that gets activated in your brain, and this medication has an impact on that center, your addiction centers, where it allows your brain to release itself from whatever is the chemical that's making it want more of that. So wanting more of what you need is just not a very good thing for your body, apparently. And these medications will help you control those centers. Now, they do not like remove them forever. It's not like a medication that you take one day and then you'll never need it again. No, you will need it forever. This is not a one and done thing. Like most things, modern life as we know it has brought us several things that we can just not leave. Just like our ancestors didn't have access to toothbrushes. However, we do, and we know that brushing our teeth twice or thrice a day is very important for the longevity of our teeth. Similarly, there are also now these medications that allow your body to stay together longer and to keep functioning longer, and that's how these medications need to be viewed.
Recommend like a specific diet and exercise?
When you are on GLP-1 agonists, just remember that whenever you're using these medications are used in conjunction with all the things that we tell you to do by yourself. Like, we want you to hydrate yourself, we want you to sleep on time, to make sure that you let your body relax and rest and restore its functionality as you sleep. We want you to eat real food and not junk food. We want you to stay away from toxic substances and toxic company, because whether it is toxic people or toxic food or toxic circumstances or toxic places, we want you to stay out of it. And but I really don't care for any particular diet. I'm not a big proponent of like food schemes, because every human is so unique. Your culture is different. Like, everybody has their own cultural things, the foods of their ancestors that they like, and it's very hard to put you in some kind of a food scheme where we want you to do that for the rest of your life. It's very hard. I have seen and I've been a doctor for over 2 decades, and I have seen people try various fad diets, and you do it for a month or 2, at the most 3, and if you're like really, really disciplined, you might do it for a year or 2, and you may achieve your goals. But it's very hard to stay in that confine of that one food group that I might recommend you to. So these medications that we have discovered and that FDA has now cleared for approved for United States are game changers. And basically, you can go and eat what you feel like. So I am a proponent of something called intuitive eating, which is you learn to listen to your body. You learn to talk to yourself, and you learn to feel the feelings that your body is providing to you. And if it is talking to you to go and drink water, go and drink water. If it is telling you to go take something sweet, go and take something sweet. If it's telling you to go and feed yourself, go and feed yourself. And arrange for yourself real food that you have prepared or that somebody has prepared for you. And the thing is that the good thing with this is that you'll eat little bit and you will feel satisfied. And that's why I say that it's the future of food is going to be very different for humans, because we will see that we will nourish ourselves, we will provide our body all the nutrients, either intravenously or in some form of a protein drink or a meal, which will tell you, which will have all the fiber for you also, and that you will take. And other than that, any food that you're going to go and eat or seek will just be for entertainment. That's what I see in the future of, humans and food, because there are 7 billion of us, and we're all living twice or thrice as longer than our ancestors. And we also want quality of existence, not just for the few years that we're young and vibrant, but for the rest of our lives. So, keeping ourselves intact is one of the most important goals for us, because when I don't know how many of you have had a chance to go and visit nursing homes and assisted care livings. At the end, that spectrum of life, people are really miserable when they don't have health. And if they suffer from various illnesses. And by the time people are in their 60s and 70s, a lot of people fall prey to cardiovascular and brain-related disorders. And all those disorders are preventable. All these disorders are usually start when you are still in your 30s and 40s. And those are my target clientele, because life is best preserved when you prevent the diseases and debacles from happening. However, even though we're fortunate to have a healthcare in United States, but most of our healthcare is managed by finance bros who are more into sickness management rather than healthcare, because they don't know better. And at some point, this paradigm will shift also. But it is already shifting for a lot of us, where a lot of us know that healthcare right now is more like your car insurance. Your health insurance is like your car insurance, because your car insurance only gets activated when you have an accident or a problem with the car. And so does your healthcare. Your health insurance also gets activated with the amount of diseases you have. So nobody makes any money unless you fall sick. So I feel that it should be different, because, as far as your car is concerned, after 4 or 5 or 10 years, you will go and buy a new car. Meanwhile, your body, once it gets, destroyed, it's very hard to put back the body, because we don't have the technology to bring back the body the way it was originally created. All right. So one of the things that I like to do at our office is to give you like a 5-week plan for GLP-1 agonists. And basically, when you purchase 4 weeks together, we give you 1 week on the house, and that brings your costs down. And it increases the period of time that you can give yourself the sugar neutralizers. And listen, once you are in a maintenance zone where you have achieved your ideal weight and you're basically maintaining it, at that point, a 5-week thing should last you a month and a half to 2. And I think that that's very sustainable, and a lot of people like it. However, just know that with these GLP-1 agonists, you still need Botox, you still need fillers, and you still need skin tightening. If you're not going to do those things alongside your GLP-1 agonist, you'll get something called an Ozempic face, which means that you'll be very slender. However, your face will be falling apart and you'll look much older than your age instead of feeling younger. You may be feeling younger, but you won't look it.
How long do you recommend being on it?
Again, I recommend you to be on it forever, for as long as you're alive.
Would there be any side effect though in the long run as medical?
So again, the thing is that, see, it's like a vehicle that brings you from point A to point B. So I don't want you to increase your dose. I want you to just experience it in its glory, and just keep using it. The thing is that the side effect of just exposing yourself to high sugars have more side effects than you using this medication. Because remember, this is a medication that will remove the sugar spikes that occur inside your body when you spill even cortisol. So when you get, let's say, stressed about your job or your child or your boyfriend or your husband or your parent, and you're worried and you're spilling cortisol, which is a hormone that people secrete in their adrenal cortex, when you spill that hormone cortisol, which acts like a steroid in your system, and it creates that steroid is like it's created inside your body. It's an endogenous steroid. So when you produce that thing, and what does it do? It creates a sugar spike in your system where you have this fight and flight moment of anxiety that can happen just by a thought that you've released in your system. Guess what that sugar does? It destroys everything in your system. That's why one of the things I like to check in my clients is cortisol levels. And I have noticed that after people use GLP-1 agonists, your fat cells relax and your sugar levels relax, whether they are created by cortisol or whether they're created by the carbohydrates that you're eating. So that's why I say that what sugar will do to you is much worse than what this medication, if introduced appropriately into your system, will do. So this is, can it cause problems? Yes, it can. However, if you use it with care and with appropriate supervision of your own doctor, it is a miracle medication. It is a miracle of modern medicine. And I am hoping that everybody gets a chance to enjoy it for the rest of their lives. And I'm sorry if you're going to be somebody who will have to pay for it out of pocket. Listen, we all have to pay for our own medications, especially the medications that are important in longevity, which are infusions of minerals and nutrients, the infusion cocktails, at your favorite doctor's office, or GLP-1 agonists, or anti-aging medications like Botox or hyaluronic acid, fillers, or energy devices like sound or light energy devices that allow us to help your body stay in its harmony for longer. All those energy devices, all those medications, and all these nutrients and minerals that are important for your longevity and for your future versions of self are all out-of-pocket expenses. And we all have to figure out ways that will allow us to pay for that for these. So when you plan your retirement, you have to plan for this also. Otherwise, your retirement will be in a nursing facility, which will take away all your money and use it for just management of sicknesses. So it's better that you do all of these things and plan a different form of life for yourself, which is filled with health and wellness and longevity. The kind of lasers that I like to talk about in the wintertime are the ones that harness the energy of light. And what we do with that is that it is, so your skin is like a fabric. It is the largest fabric and the most expensive fabric that you will ever own. It is also the keeper and the holder of your consciousness. However, the exposed parts of your skin collect a lot of sun and a lot of life and a lot of damage throughout the year, throughout the days of your life. And during the winter time, during the dead of the winter, what I like people to do is to at least once or twice remove the damage that they have incurred upon their face, neck, chest, shoulders, hands, which are the most exposed parts of your body. And that is best done with laser that can penetrate through the top layer of your skin and break apart the pigmentation or the age spots or any other. Sometimes there are vascular problems like blood vessels encroaching upon the top layers of the skin, creating outbreaks of acne and other kinds of inflammation. And we basically remove them with the help of lasers also. However, lasers, especially those that harness the energy of light or that work with or deeper lasers like Fraxel or CO2 lasers, what they really also do, while the reason we want to do them in the winter time is because when we do a laser treatment on your skin, what it also does is that it sensitizes your skin to not only the rays of sun but also to heat. So sometimes if you are getting a treatment like this in the summertime or in a place where there is too much heat and sun exposure, then you may not get the desired results. And not only you may not get the desired results of removing the pigmented age spot, but you might end up getting hypopigmented or hyperpigmented in the process because of just exposing your skin to heat and sun when done in the wrong month. So with lasers, the only caution I advise to my clients is that please try to do them during the dead of the winter, when you can hide your face somewhere or when you can hide your hands under a glove or something. Anything else? Yeah, so the light lasers are good for age spots, sunspots, melasma, rosacea, just skin polishing. It's great for that. What is your favorite laser treatment? My most favorite laser treatment for myself is my rosacea treatment because I am somebody who suffered from rosacea all my life. And I was finally able to fix my rosacea problem once and for all with my Cyton broad-based light laser. I needed 3 treatments. And after that, every year I do 1 maintenance treatment. And I've been doing it for the past 14 years. And I love it. It's the best. And so that's my favorite laser treatment. However, if you were to ask me what is my favorite machine in longevity medicine, that is a skin tightening machine that I got almost 14 years ago, and I have trained on it for over a decade. And recently I also upgraded and bought another machine, and their newer model, and it's equally good. Actually, the new machine that tightens the skin, and it's actually a non-surgical facelift. It is cleared by FDA in United States. It's a German technology, and it's by a company called MERS Aesthetics. And their new machine is called Prime, Ultherapy Prime. And what they do is that they harness the energy of sound, and these are these bits and bytes of sound that we place under your skin. So it is like a skin tailoring job. I tell everyone that you might need a surgical facelift maybe once in your life, but you need non-surgical facelifts every single year, sometimes multiple or times in a year, as your system, as your face goes through time, gravity, and hormonal changes. And the most important thing to remember about skin is that your skin is not only the largest organ of your body, it is an organ that is constantly expanding. It expands. So you are expanding. Just as like the hour that you sat here and listened to me, you have expanded. So skin expansion is not handled with just Botox and fillers, because people who just do Botox and only hyaluronic acid fillers as a longevity or anti-aging tool, they very quickly realize 5-6 years down the line that they're looking like a pillow cushion because they are just filling themselves as their skin is expanding. What we have realized over the past decade and a half is that as you go through time, not only we need to place the things that your skin loses, like the internal padding, but we also need to tighten it a little bit. And that's why the newer devices that we are recommending for skin failure, chronic skin failure, are non-surgical, and you just need to do them a couple of times in a year. And your skin tailor, your non-surgical skin tailor, should know how to use these tools, because these are the tools that will allow you to stay connected with versions of self that you like best. Okay, guys, I'm gonna give you a heart. Guys, look at this, Right. I love you, and I hope I answered most of your questions, if not all of them. And I would be happy to take your questions. Please make sure that you follow me and comment, place your questions in the comment section of my TikTok. I'm so glad TikTok is back. There is no other platform that I wanted to go on live, because once they closed TikTok, I was like, that's it. I don't even want to go anywhere. I want to just stay, because it's so hard to go and establish yourself on other platforms. And even though I have like quite a large following on Instagram, I just don't like their algorithms. I prefer TikToks. I don't know why. Anyway, all right. Bye. Thank you.